All right. So, first one back in a while. It's been a minute, but we're going to do this one on Caleb camping out of Fossil Ridge High School in Fort Collins, up in Fort Collins. So, he is a 2027 tight end. I know it says DN on here as well, but he's a tight end. Um, so a junior tight end, 6'5", 220 is what he's listed at. And as always, we will go to his Twitter. I actually have it open already, so we'll jump over to that after we look at his highlights. So I want to look at this mid-season highlight here. And let's take a look. All right, so you know me, I'm a big fan of having title pages. There's not one here. That's a good catch. Good hands catch. Let's see here. Another good hands catch. He's 6'5", and the quarterback is putting this to where he still has to go up and get it. But that's impressive. That shows high point ability, shows athleticism. It's a big boy. You know, not bad for a route runner. I don't know. I think it's kind of hard to find legitimate tight ends that are shifty route runners and you know, separation creating type route runners. I like this blocking play here. And just drive them out. Not bad. Let's see. Okay, running routes out of a 3-point stance. Really good receiver. You know, from what I'm seeing on here. And then I'm a big fan of being able to see these blocks. Seeing blocking in here, especially from tight ends. That's a big deal. And Caleb's a baller. So far, this is actually really good film. I like that one. That could be a little sooner, a little earlier. Show some physicality in there. That's nice. I could have been an earlier clip in this. You know, getting in the end zone, that could have probably been an earlier clip. Remember, when you're cutting up your highlight film, it doesn't need to be in any type of chronological order like that. I like that. That should have been sooner. It doesn't need to be in chronological order. It needs to be in wow factor, right? You want your most wowing plays to be at the beginning of the film. It was another good block, real physical. Another really good hands catch. His catch radius. You make your quarterback look better. I'll put it that way. I like that. Good, you know, block somebody, put them on the ground, pick up another block. I love that. I'm a big fan of that. Very physical. Again, 6'5", 220. You know, obviously in college he'll want to put on probably another 15, 20 pounds easy. Be more like 240, 245 or something. Maybe not that big because he's pretty athletic. You know, maybe I'd say 15 pounds or so, and he might be solid. Shifty. All right. So he's got some, you can see that he's pretty nimble, very athletic, good on his blocks. He actually blocks like an extra lineman, and then he's a true Y. As a receiver. This is actually really good film. This kid's legit. I mean, playing on CSU's field probably has little to no interaction from them. Go figure. Wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. Oh, punter as well. That's right. That is on there, on his Twitter page, that he's a punter. That's a boot. That's a boot from a tight end. So what that tells me is you could run a quick squib or something like that with him. You could run something tricky with him. Nice. That's actually solid film. I know usually I'd try to go in about structure and all that, but I think measurables alone, being 6'5", 220, is going to make somebody want to watch this film anyway. And they'll sit through it long enough to get through the first 10 plays or so. And I think this is good enough film that it should catch somebody's attention enough to watch most of it. Again, just remember, some of those wow plays, we want to have those early on. And nothing kind of picks up more than obviously those great extension catches where he's going up high point, grab the ball, good hands catches. But some of that physicality is nice to see early. So let's just jump over to Twitter. We're going to check out his Twitter page here. So right here, we're seeing Fossil Ridge High School, Fort Collins, class of 2027, 6'5", 220, tight end, DN, punter, number 87, 3.6 GPA, football, basketball, so two-sport athlete, and then NCAA ID number. So if there was something else up here that you wanted to add but felt like you couldn't, because this is great, by the way, but you felt like you couldn't because of character limit, just understand that because you have your city listed here, which is great, which is exactly what it should be, the link to your huddle, that's exactly what it should be. You're perfectly fine. Because you have this, you could take this out, right? Or if you're wanting to, again, add something else but character limit, remember, Fossil Ridge, you could abbreviate high school. Don't abbreviate the whole thing. Leave it Fossil Ridge, but you could abbreviate high school. And this is more so a general tip for anybody watching this. And then class of 2027, the abbreviation here would be C/O, and then you could apostrophe 27. So that just kind of saves you on some of these extra characters if needed. Again, that's just more of a generalized tip. So let's see. Now, one thing that I don't talk about as much is the profile picture. Now, this isn't a bad profile picture by any means. If this is what you got, this is what you got. Now, what I suggest for any prospect, any high school student that is hitting the recruiting trail heavy, is to have more of a headshot that has, if it was jersey, right, says Fossil Ridge, no helmet, headshot, so I can see what you look like. Now I know what you look like at a camp. I know what you look like. So that's just, that's a pro tip right there. But again, this isn't bad at all. If you don't have one of those, this is perfectly fine. But I just think a step above, something that makes you stand out a little bit more, just helps a little bit more, is knowing what you look like. Because honestly, there are a lot of y'all compared to how many or how few scouts and recruiters there are. And if I don't see your face, I honestly don't know what you look like. Some of you have come up to me and we'll chit chat, and I just, till I realize who you are, I don't recognize you by face if all I've ever seen is you in a helmet. Now, looking at the tweet, so this one right here is my biggest problem. Not this tweet. This isn't a problem at all by itself, but my problem is that the first tweet is not that video that we just watched. It should be this film. This needs to be pinned. Okay? Tweet this out, pin it, but don't just tweet it. So let's talk about screen recording. So before I mentioned about screen recording, being a fan, not being a fan of it, and it's not that I'm not a fan of screen recording, okay? I actually don't have an issue with it. My issue isn't the screen recording, it's the laziness behind a lot of the screen recording I see. That's why I don't like it. I don't like seeing notifications pop up because, one, it's distracting, two, I'm going to look. And there have been times where a notification has popped up on somebody's screen record that has been, let's just say it shouldn't have been seen, okay? And rather than just, doing what they should have did and starting over, they try to swipe up real quick and keep it going. Fam, that's, I can see it. I can pause it if I wanted to, right? I can see it. And that, to me, raised questions on that particular person's character. And it's not the first time that I've seen that. It's not just character. It's more so, I don't know, like self-awareness, right? Like, start over. If you're going to screen record, turn your notifications off and have it screen record. Cut all the extra nonsense off at the front, cut all the extra nonsense off at the back end, the phone part. Get rid of that. Just make it the video that plays straight through. But that's what you want here. You want something that auto plays so you can watch the film from right here. Why? It makes it easy. I don't have to go anywhere. I can just watch it from here. The other reason why we say do it is because Huddle is not the best. Just how it's ran, CEOs only care about money. They don't actually care about anything about putting out a product that actually services its customers. They just care about the money that the customers pay. So they couldn't care less about the ads popping up. And I've had some people say, well, if you have a login to Huddle, just log in once, you don't have to worry about it. The issue with the Twitter app and with the Huddle, linking in between there is if you're logged into your Huddle app, it doesn't matter. Right? Being logged in on Twitter, you go to Huddle, click on somebody's highlight, you log in once, cool. If you close out your phone or if background refresh is on or whatever, it's going to log you out. So then the next time you come back and click on it, you're going to have to log in again. And people don't want to do that because when you log in, it doesn't take you to where you logged in from. It takes you to the home page. So then you got to back out, go back to their Twitter, click on it again. It's a whole bunch of unnecessary steps that nobody has time for. And then you either have the 14, 15 second ad that runs at the front, or you have a 30-second ad that runs at the front. For me, a lot of the times I'll sit through the 14-second ad. My time is a little bit different. I don't have as much going on as college coaches do. 30-second ad, I'm not sitting through. If I'm not sitting through a 30-second ad, a college coach isn't sitting through a 30-second ad. They're probably not sitting through the other one either. And that's the big issue when it comes to having just the video posted on here. So like if we scroll down, because this one auto plays, so my assumption is that this person screen recorded. Cool. Same thing. This is a video that's posted to Twitter, probably from the phone. So, it's a native video to the app itself. I think back in the day, there used to be a way to actually upload it. I'm looking into it. I don't think that way exists anymore, but like this one, if we're looking at this video here, you got to click on it in order to go to it. Now I'm on my laptop, so it's a little bit different using the MacBook, but if I'm on my phone and I click on this, I'm going to have to sit through an ad. And if it's a 30-second ad, I'm not doing it. It's not happening. I'm not going to do it. Sorry, not sorry. I'm just not going to do it. Right. Same thing here. If I have to click on this, I don't want to sit through it. So that's where screen recording comes in. And there's a lot of recruiting people who work recruiting assistants, a lot of parents who have gone through this with their, first or second kids or however many kids gone through this. That's another big piece of advice that they put out, that they've heard from coaches like, hey, let's get this screen recorded so we don't have to worry about sitting through. So when it goes to Twitter, let's make sure it's screen recorded. Right. And that is a great idea. It's a way to cut out all the nonsense. I don't care if it's, a video from Huddle, a video from YouTube, just go ahead and screen record it, have it on there. So that way when you post it, rather than it sitting here, we got to click, go to another app and all that extra stuff. It just plays straight through like what we saw up here with your teammates film. And so let's go ahead and get the screen recorded version of this. Get it, make sure you take your time on it, clean it up. Don't have all the phone swipe up stuff to cancel out of the recording. And again, you can just, for people who don't know, you can tap the red part up at the top, like how it's green when you're on the phone call with somebody, it'll be red up at the top corner. I'm talking about iPhones. If you don't have an iPhone, I don't know what to say, but that's a way to turn that off quickly. But still, cut that part out. You can splice that off of there. Just it's not difficult to do, and post that here. And let's get that pinned. Keep it up top, so that way we see this. All this is outstanding. When I need to go to your Huddle, boom, it's there. And then here's that cut up of your compilation film. So mid-season, perfect. Watch that. I like it. I want to see more. I can click on your Huddle right here. We're good to go. And shout out to Sydney Strickland, mom of Luke Strickland, former Fairview wide receiver, who is now at San Diego, she was very adamant about trying to pass that message along about screen recording. And that's advice that they were told from college coaches. So that's not, that's just not people's opinions. These are, hey, do this, okay? Because this is what college coaches are saying. So checking this out, let's look to see. Obviously, we saw that Kansas and their scouting directors checking you out, so that's awesome. We see you got some love from North Dakota State. Doesn't look like you have an offer just yet from anybody, which to me is kind of wild. Let's see where we're at. So we got some game day visits. Mine's checking you out. Smart. CSU, that's good. I have seen CSU drop some 2027 offers and whatnot. I think there should be more love on here. I feel like if they're not ready to offer you for whatever reason, especially after you played on their field, which, okay, well, I can get into that later. But after you played on their field, if there's nothing, there should at the very least be heavy graphics, right? Like if you're not going to offer, send graphics. Let them know that you're really, at the very least, they're on your board and you're really looking, because there's some up here, but to me that's not enough. Yeah, August game day invite, cool. September 8th. September 21st, I'm assuming, yeah, clearly that's not the same game. What was it, spring? No, I said September 8th, so obviously that's not spring. That's the fall, genius. But to me, I feel like if you're going to early offer somebody, this is a kid that you should early offer. I think if you evaluate, you look at talent, and you can say this kid's going to be very talented. I mean, there was another Fossil Ridge, why he was a receiver, but that kid is playing in the conference at a different school from right out of your backyard. Let's not do the same thing here. Okay. We just had in this past draft, in the NFL draft, 2 tight ends get drafted who are from Colorado. I watched both of them when they were in high school, watching that film of Caleb. Now, I haven't seen him in person yet, and they have, so maybe there's something different. But watching that film of Caleb, I can see another potential, top tight end coming out of here. I mean, 6'5", 220, a lot of physical blocks in there, a lot of going up and high pointing the ball. At 6'5", he having to go up and high point the ball, catching passes, full wingspan, out fingertips in that film. To me, this kid he's an under the radar type, even though he's got some of this stuff going on. Like, no. This is an underrated player, in my opinion, and he should be heavily recruited. And there's no reason why that school in Fort Collins, that this kid is playing in their backyard, even on their film or on their field, excuse me. Look in the background, right? On their field. This is a kid that should be recruited for them heavy. Let's not let him go somewhere else, because I could see him playing in the Big 12. I could see him playing in the Big 10. I could see him playing obviously in the Pac as well. This is a talented player, so there's no reason why he shouldn't be getting recruited. I know a lot of CSU diehard fans who know little to nothing about high school football, the world of high school football and recruiting, the world of recruiting. They're more on the outside looking in. They'll double check some website and say, oh, well, look at, don't want to hear all that nonsense. That's something I can go on about forever. This is about Caleb Camping, and I'm telling you right now, recruit this kid or you're going to play against him. That's a D1 tight end.